Saturday, the 15th of April, we woke up to the sound of continuous shooting, explosions, and missiles. Everyone was paralyzed in shock and disbelief, but soon we came to realize that we were all trapped amidst a civil war, locked in our houses with limited access to food, water, or electricity. Hello everyone. Hi, this is Hela. We are in Manshia, Khartoum right now, 4th day of the war. We have already experienced a lot of fear and angst with the bombing sounds, and supposed to be a ceasefire, but we doubt that it's actually a ceasefire. All right, we're leaving. I hope they don't think we're journalists and shoot us. We're not journalists.
A war broke out between the RSF and the Sudanese military, and the Sudanese citizens paid a price.
Heavy bombing nearby caused all the glass to shatter in this building.
وثاني ديك عربيه برضه محروقه منهم امام القياده العامه يا اخوانا امام القياده العامه ليه السكه حديد ليه السكه حديد امام القياده العامه يا اخوانا ده القطيب بتاع السكه حديد الله اكبر ان شاء الله نضيعوها طلعت الكسر.
Complete terror as the sound of shootings and bombs increased by the hour. Complete paralysis in the streets as moving to get food or water can be deadly. The Tunisian embassy in Khartoum called for our evacuation, which started on Monday the 24th of April. We met at As-Salam Hotel, and from there we started our journey towards Aswan, Egypt. I left home and headed towards As-Salam Hotel one day before, as our planned evacuation time would have been 6 in the morning, and leaving home before that, with hours or at the night time, would have been very risky. It was hard to film along the way, as you don't know which armed person belongs to which military or paramilitary group and could be offended by a camera. It was sad seeing the city, the burnt buildings, and the destruction that was caused.
After waiting at As-Salam Hotel reception overnight, and as the morning approached, all the Tunisian community have met. 6 in the morning was the promised time by the bus driver, but he came later as there was fuel shortage and problems on the road. Around 10 in the morning is the time that we have started moving. We took a road that was complicated and much longer towards Durman, from which a bigger bus was going to arrive and take us towards Aswan, Egypt. I tried filming along the way as we have left Khartoum. This is the station from which all buses usually head towards Egypt, but today it was more crowded than ever as thousands tried to flee. We finally got inside the bus that would take us to Aswan, but we had to wait for more than 5 hours, as the driver was warned of armed looters nearby.
النار عنيف اقوى عنف اليوم في الطريق والله اقوى ضرب
The bus we got on was previously shot with shattered glass, bullet holes, and some bullets that were even remaining on the sides. 7 hours and 525 kilometers later, our bus driver decided to take a stop here. All the other bus drivers too. This is the location where they had to take a rest, have some food, and sleep for some hours until we took on the road again tomorrow. On our way, we got a chance to overlook Sudan's beautiful and vast terrains, and a very small chance to try and process everything that had happened for the past 10 days. This is the country that we loved. This is the country that we called home. The country that still has a lot of our friends, a lot of memories. This is the country we are forced to flee from. All the destruction that was caused, all the pain, all the suffering, all the death. And yet again, before we got a chance to process, our bus was on its way to Halfa, where we are going to meet the Sudanese-Egyptian borders. There lies another challenge and another journey. Soon enough, we came to realize there were hundreds of buses there, with thousands of people fighting for their life, trying to flee Sudan, some of which have been sleeping there for days and days, as the processing time was very lengthy. This particular bus has caught my eye, as it had written on the back of it, "Rabbi ij'al hada al-balada aminan," which means, "May God keep this country safe." The border at which thousands and thousands of people await, where families, children, elderly people, ill people are waiting, had no proper human conditions, no sanitary conditions, no proper toilets, no proper access to food or water. It was all too sad to be a part of, to witness, and to know that people will endure this for a very long time. With extreme efforts, we only spent 14 hours at the border. Meanwhile, others had to wait for days and days. After finally getting the Sudanese stamp and being able to proceed to the Egyptian side of the border, we all finally took a sigh of relief. These families have endured a lengthy and strenuous journey, being forced to flee from their homes, and still have to have a lot of patience while they're processing their documents, going into the unknown, entering Egypt with no plan, but only the goal of protecting their loved ones, their children, their parents, and themselves. If they were not going to die by shooting, by bombs, they will eventually die out by having no proper access to food or water. So for them, there was no choice. They had to leave. After a very long and surreal experience, we find ourselves in Egypt. On our way to Aswan, we have stopped to get some food, get some water, and replenish our energy. Finally reaching Aswan airport, now we know that our journey is coming to an end. We are about to head towards our military aircraft, which was sent by the Tunisian government to evacuate us back home. The Tunisian military welcomed us as we were about to onboard the military aircraft. The 6-hour flight came to an end, and here we are landing in Tunisia. When we landed, we were asked to speak to the press to describe our journey.
لكن يعني بالتنسيق مع الجالية الكل كل واحد لقى الطريقة اللي باش يمشي فيها لنقطة الانطلاق. فما باص من غادي هزنا وحالة نوعا ما ذعر وتأهب لأي حاجة ممكن تصير في أي وقت.
Now that I'm back to safety, all that occupies my mind is how can we help the millions of Sudanese families who were forced to flee their homes, whether in Egypt, Ethiopia, or Chad. They were forced to leave unprepared with no means of supporting their families once they cross into safety. We need the help of the international community. For the honorable, kind, and generous Sudanese people, I've created a page on Go Get Funding. Link will be attached below. All funds will be allocated towards providing basic life necessities, such as water, food, and medication, for the displaced population of Sudan, those who have crossed the border with no plan and no means of survival.